We are live here on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel. My name is Tony Vacinda. I'm Chief Alchemist here at Plus One EXP, which is a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. Our hope and desires to help amazing designers find great players who love their games and help amazing players find great designers whose games they can love. We do that in a lot of different ways, but the most fun way is sitting down with those designers and creators and just playing their games with them. Today is no different. We're sitting down with two of the members of the team behind Ascoleth, which is live right now over on Kickstarter. You can go to the link down below my face at the bottom of the screen to go check that out. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and meet those creators, the folks we're playing with, and learn a little bit about the Ascoleth setting. Let's start with Felix. Felix, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online. Tell us a little bit about Ascoleth also, too.
All right. So, I mean, initially this was Tobias' idea, but I joined on as soon as I could. We are both steeped in weird gonzo RPGs, and I personally just love storytelling. I'm a aspiring minister of the church and theologian, so I have a huge thing for narratives and tales, and that and weirdness, I should say, in tales. So when Tobias and Marcus of Down We Go fame said, "Hey, we're working on this, this gonzo weird fantasy setting," I was like, "Please let me on." Yeah, and it's been super fun, and it's been really like easy to just mash out interesting tables. It really fits me as a project.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm excited to sit down and play with you today. And you already mentioned Tobias. Tobias, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online? Why don't you tell us a little bit about Ascoleth also, too?
Sure. During the daytime, I'm a butcher, but I love playing RPGs. I love being the game master, and I call myself a forever GM, but it's by choice. And I love gonzo settings. When I got introduced to OSR, one of the first modules I got was Anomalous Subsurface Environment, and I was just madly in love with it. After that, I soon found the Dying Earth novels, and I devoured them, and they're one of the best novels ever. And I wanted to capture some of that, but putting my touch on it too, which is a little bit more to the grimdark and over-the-top gonzo. So the idea started when being a dad now to a small to a young daughter, I don't have any time to read big loads of setting material and remember them. That's impossible for me. So I wanted something to have a quick punchy tables that you can riff off on easily. So the table entries are a bit longer than you're used to, but you can do so much more with them. And they during the playtest, we really saw how they move the game forward almost automatically.
Yeah, I love it. I'm super excited to sit down and play with both of y'all. We also have Christian with us today. Christian, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, and where they can find you online if you want to be found?
I don't want to be found. I'm just happy to be here, actually. It's an honor to be part of its playtester.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on today. I'm very excited to have you, very excited to sit down. Even though Tobias is a forever GM, I'm actually going to run today because I said, why don't we run it in Down We Go, which is our house OSR system, which is created by Marcus Linderum, who we already mentioned and is one of the writers. Also, too, Tobias was on that first stream we ever did. I think the first time the game ever got played for Down We Go also, too. And so it's been very cool to see another infinitely shifting, always changing city come out of the Swedish OSR scene. And I love a chance to get to play with Swedish designers anytime we get a chance. I don't know what's happening in my One of my lights just came unhinged. We may take a break shortly so I can fix that. We're just going to keep on going right now. I'll be running the stream for us today, or running the game for us today. We're going to use Down We Go, which you can go to ttrpg.link/downwego, or DWG if you want to find it, folks. But it's a very simple, easy to run system, exactly built for this. And I love that we get to take it and kind of put it in a completely different setting and see how things run also too. That light falling off that thing really just threw me off. I was totally not expecting it. I'm sorry. With that said, we always use a couple of tools when we're playing online, especially with new players who haven't played with before, to just keep everything on track, make sure everyone's comfortable. Those are lines, veils, and the X card. Lines are things that may happen in the world of our game, but don't happen in the course of our play of it. Veils are things that may happen in play, but we just kind of we don't dwell on them, or we kind of fade to black or flash forward when they come up. And then the X card's the ability for anybody to say X, pause the game, identify an issue, have a conversation, then dive back into play, moving forward in a different direction if we need to. We also have an open door policy because lights may fall off. We may need a drink. Somebody may come up and need to talk to us. Babies may wake up. We don't know what's going to happen. We're all real human people who have real human things happening outside of the screen that you can see. So if we need to hop up real quick, that's totally normal and should be expected. With that said, does anybody have any lines or veils that they want to add? We have a strong line against sexual violence on the channel. Everything else we kind of leave up for conversation as we play. Anything y'all want to add?
Good. I do feel very uncomfortable with detailed description of violence against children. So okay. I would not like that.
Let's just take violence against children off the table then. Kids will be safe. All of your characters also canonically have to be at least teenagers that we're comfortable hurting then. So anything else that we want to add?
No, cool. I'm fine.
I'm not a super gruesome GM, except for sometimes when it comes to smells or flavors of things. So don't get anything weird in your mouth, and we probably won't have too much trouble. But again, if something comes up, please let us. Well, feel free to.
Yeah,
I always love exploring that. So I want to meet your characters in just a second. We're going to use some Down We Go Laura's loot things to get us seated on where you are and who y'all are. But we're going to start out as oftentimes these things do. We're going to start out at a tavern. Tavern is probably too generous of a term for where you're all at. It is very much a drinking hole, a bar, a place for people to go to drink until they have blacked out. And that is exactly what has happened. Y'all are waking up the morning after at least one member of your retinue has tied one on. You can decide for your characters what they did that caused them to fall asleep. But y'all are the hype crew of a local famous kind of neighborhood important gladiator who y'all are kind of the entourage for. So let's kind of look around the bar real quick, see where each of your characters are. Tell us a little bit about who they are, what we see as they're kind of waking up this morning after this raging party the night before, and give us a little bit of a sense of who they are. Let's start with Christian. Christian, why don't you tell us a little bit about your character and what we see?
So you see this kind of tall, thin. It's hard to establish how old he is, but definitely over 20. But kind of hard worn, so it's hard to tell exactly how. He's laying with his face down in front of the fireplace, which perhaps has a little shine coming from it, but not full flame. And the greasy hair is just rolling up over his shoulders, turning up. You can see the mustachio, and he's just looking dizzy around. And now you see that he has his pants down to his knees, and he just looks down "What, Bertrand? Oh, and the name is Tuver Sweettooth, if I didn't say that.
Awesome. So you start yelling for Bertram, it sounds like. Bertram, why don't you tell us a little bit about your character?
Yeah, Bertram the Confused is a pretty well built guy, totally shaven, he's been in many fights, so there's a lot of scars and bruises always on him. But he never remembers why. Uh, he wakes up. Uh, there's like someone calling his voice, maybe from a dream or something, and there's dripping coming into his face. And when he opens his eyes, the first thing he sees, the tap is still like it's not completely closed, so it's dripping onto his face. So it's like soaking wet on his face. And then he can hear Silvertooth's like noise. So I stand up behind the bar and it's like, "What now?"
What the fuck did we do?
Fight?
Why?
Yes.
Is everyone all right on our side?
Someone's missing, right? I forgot his name. The other guy.
Yeah, the new guy. I
Yeah.
think Ailgut something.
Yeah.
Felix,
Goods.
Felix, why don't you go ahead and introduce your character at this point in time?
Yeah, so you see a tall, gaunt figure in heavy robes, um, who you correctly identified as Ailgout. He is the he's a member of an esoteric cult and has been brought on as a sort of religious, like you know, the one to charm and like bless the gladiator, like his yeah, the weird cult that the gladiator now is part of.
Are you telling me that you are this gladiator's spiritual advisor? That's your role in the
Yeah,
party?
exactly. Yeah.
I thought cheerleader.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
You-
gosh. That's such a great position.
Do you remember when what was it? Those three was it Kanye West and Bieber and someone else
Yeah.
like got all dressed in white robes and went to a church and was all like it was a very strange yeah, something like that.
It's a little bit Hillsong is what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, I love that. So yeah, so each of you are members of this party. We've got you, Elgout, who is the spiritual advisor. I also did say that each of you could have a very minor, very bad, not very useful magical item on your character based on their role within the hype crew, within the entourage. What I know that Tobias and I talked about one for Bertram. So why don't you why don't you tell everybody about a little bit about the magical item that you're sporting as your role while everybody else thinks of theirs if they haven't yet.
Yeah, I have the foam finger of pointing.
Awesome.
So it's a huge blood red foam finger, probably with our gladiators team's name on it. And whenever I point it at someone, they can really feel themselves pointed out. It's like everyone is staring at them.
Awesome.
And they know I'm pointing.
I love it. I love that. Speaking of which, tell me about the symbol that's on it. What is the symbol of your gladiator and the gladiator team?
Ooh, hard question.
I can come back to you in just 1 second if you want.
Yeah.
All right. Let's hop over to Christian. Christian, tell us a little bit about what your character does on the team. Because Tobias, your character is the bodyguard also too, correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. Christian, tell us a little bit about your character and what they do and what item you have.
So Tuver is kind of the management. I'm having the money, I'm having the contacts, and try to pull the right people together. Obviously, I needed Bertram for protection, and obviously Ailgut has his services too, especially as the cult is getting more and more influence in this part of town, and we need their favors. My weapon of favor is knuckle dusters. I am quite well mannered, so I always keep a silver comb and wax and hair oil and such. But I also have the magic towel. I do it to, like, get the blood stains and stuff off people, off the gladiator, and it never gets really dirty, and it's never really clean either. So
So it's just a magic towel of kind of clean.
kind of clean.
Kind of clean. I love
I
it.
mean,
I love it. What is the name of the gladiator that y'all are the hype crew for?
I was thinking Hubert, but maybe somebody else has a better
No,
name.
Hubert is perfect.
I love that. Hubert. Do we have a last name or like a like what like Hubert the what? Like what do they call him?
Hubert the Broad.
Hubert the Broad. Is that a funny name because he's not very broad, or is it a funny name because he is incredibly broad?
Maybe he's thin.
Okay. Awesome. We'll dive into why exactly he's called Hubert the Broad as we go. Felix, what does your character have on them that's kind of a signature standout item based on your position as the spiritual guru of Hubert the Broad?
I think I have. I liked your idea there with an unlabeled bottle of something, and I think I'll use it to sprinkle it and maybe inject him with it, and various distribute it in weird ways to him, and no one's really clear about what it is in it.
I love it. Whenever
might be vitamins.
Whenever that comes into play, just know I'm going to ask you sensory details about the experience to help define what exactly it does in that moment. But you've got a bottle of what in Down We Go we're just calling dreg, which is the leftover stuff in the bottom of an alchemist's pot when they're done brewing. And so you got a bottle of dreg. We'll find out a little bit more about what it does every single time.
Sacred dreg.
Yeah. So no, that's awesome. All right, we're back around, Tobias. What's the symbol that we see for Hubert the Broad?
Maybe like a really skinny arm trying to flex, and a goblin hanging from it, or something that could be a goblin, a smaller monster.
So we've got kind of the arm coming up like this, and then we've got, is the goblin hanging on by its hand, or is it like hanging like on a rope?
From his hand would be cool.
Okay, cool. So we've got this symbol for Hubert the Broad on the giant foam finger of pointing.
I like the notion of a really a comic bicep as well. It's just a finger like that.
Just a lump.
Yeah.
Awesome. So y'all are waking up. And you see Hubert the Broad sprawled out in the back, laying over the table. And by the sun coming through the window, you can tell right now that it's late morning. It's almost probably the middle of the day as you kind of can see the sun. People are starting to kind of rouse. This place is pretty empty, pretty beat up. What was indoors is now outdoors. What was outdoors is now indoors. You guys tore this place up pretty tremendously. Hubert is just laid out on a table in the back, snoring away, and totally non-responsive as people are getting him up. This is pretty common. He will oftentimes drink himself into a stupor. He's got a small vial of potion that he takes that basically knocks him out at the end of the night if he hasn't passed out yet, because that's what he's into, and that's fine. Those are his choices. However, looking at the angle of the sun, you all know that he has a bout in the early evening that you have to get him to. Otherwise, he will be disqualified from this round of competitions. And in the gladiatorial realities of Ascoleth, at least our version of Ascoleth, being DQ'd does mean a public execution in the colossal stadium of justice and entertainment. Because if you won't give us entertainment, you will give us justice. We will cut off your head. So y'all know it's either get him there, or your friend, your champion, will lose his life. Right now, y'all are in the Magitech district, the prime district of. I should have asked this. Is it Finisterre?
I haven't thought about the English.
Tell me the Swedish, and then I'll just do it badly.
No, it's actually French, but yeah.
Okay, what's the French?
Finisterre?
Yeah, probably.
Finisterre? Okay, cool. So y'all are in Ascoleth, the last great city of Finisterre. You're in the Magitect Presanctium, which I'm going to butcher a lot of Latin, French, and other languages.
Okay.
We do too.
As you kind of see the light cutting through the door, you see it kind of refracting around the Pinbius Moros icohedron, the giant 20-sided tower that dominates the skyline of the district. It seems to kind of be folding into you as if to imply you should get moving or this day will get worse. You know that there are two routes you can take. You know that you could easily cut through the surrounding neighborhoods of the pariah conurbation. Thank you. The pariah conurbation neighborhoods nearby. It's a little bit of a roundabout route, but you're right on the edge of the undead neighborhoods also, and you could take a shortcut across them and try to get there a little bit quicker. But you're kind of gonna have to choose which way you want to go at the outset. Do you want to take that shortcut, try to get there quicker? It's a little bit riskier, especially because the undead are largely lots of times spend time at the night, but if you wake them up, they can be incredibly upset, and there's always business happening in that sector either way. So which way do you want to go? The safer roundabout way, or do you want to take the shortcut through the other district? I'll let you guys talk about it in character and make a decision.
So how do we do this, boss? I can't remember how we do I usually pull him by his feet, or is it head first?
No. Wait. Let me try the the sacred potion.
Yes.
So I
tried the sacred potion.
I put it underneath his nose, like smelling salts.
And
you try to wake him up.
You go. You see him go. And he like snorts some of this up. As he snorts it up, like what kind of aroma hits you in this moment? Like what as he's snorting it out of the vial, what smell kind of wafts up to you?
I think absolutely rotten. Like it's rotten, but there's a floral element to it as well. So it's like, yeah, rotten perfume perhaps.
Cool. So you see his skin kind of turn this pallid gray. And you see like he had a kind of a black eye from yesterday's bout. You kind of see that start to heal up a little bit. But his skin tone has this kind of gauntly, death-like quality to it. But he does not wake up.
Okay, so maybe through the Necrosian burrow then.
Ilgat, I thought you had this handled. This is your responsibility.
Look, God does what he wants, okay? We're just along for the ride. We try our best.
You know what happens to the honeypot if we don't get there in time?
Yes, so we better get moving, I think.
Do we go by the Pariah or by the other way?
I thought you were the one making the decisions, boss.
Can you carry him all the long way? Because I'm not carrying anyone.
Carry him? I can carry him. Can you carry him?
Of course I can carry him. I just have to figure out if it's by the feet or by the neck. How did I do it last time?
By the armpits, I think.
Oh, yes. Armpits.
Maybe put him on your back like he's a turtle shell.
I can put him in my sack and carry him over. I start trying to put Hubert into our sack.
Awesome. You get, Hubert is pretty frail, but if you fold him a little bit, he doesn't wake up. Like, just give him a little fold. You can kind of situate him in your sack in a way that makes it pretty easy. Well, I wouldn't say easy. It makes it manageable to kind of like carry him over your shoulder, but it's very obvious because he's so long. His feet and his hands are sticking out of the top
I also
and
see
bottom.
his head is over the opening, like sticking out.
Yeah, and it's kind of like logging back and forth. You get him in there, and you actually get outside, and you then all of a sudden look down, and there's y'all's symbol alongside like a hand cart, like a wheelbarrow. That's got the Hubert the broad symbol on the side of it. And you guys remember you did park your wheelbarrow here last night.
Oh, we do have one.
I thought we destroyed that one. Didn't
No,
somebody
no.
throw it somewhere, or was that the other barrel?
I think God is gracious to us. Let's just accept the good fortune and move on.
Yeah, so I tossed the sack up on the wheelbarrow.
Awesome.
I think thinking about it, I think there's a lot of customs and stuff to get through the Necrosian barrow, so probably long way is better.
Okay.
You know what they say: shortcuts become long routes. So
Did I pay
That doesn't make sense.
it makes
yesterday's
sense in
mess?
another language.
Did we pay for yesterday's mess? Do you know?
He did, and I point at Hubert. In one way or another.
Good enough. Let's get out of here before
You
somebody notices.
at that moment, as you're like talking about this, you do see like the bartender, like from last night, like start to like get up from behind the bar and start shaking their head, and they're like, you all of a sudden they start yelling out after you. Wait, where are you going?
I'll grab the wheelbarrow and
And
start
God's
running.
blessings to you too, sir. Bye now.
Business as usual. Legs on your backs. Come on, lads.
Awesome. Do one of you want to roll a d6 for me?
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
5.
All right. As you so you decided to go kind of the safer route, right, through the pariah neighborhoods. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So you as you kind of exit out, you enter into Trainton, which is you see around you the neighborhood is kind of shooting up out of the ground. You see these large kind of metallic buildings and structures. You see a lot of Magitech like robots and automatons walking around, a number of magically oriented kind of AI bots. You see brass and chrome surfaces sparkling in kind of the midday sun that have now been kind of integrated into this district. The TLC, the Trainton Logistics Company, will let you get across this space quickly if you pay for transport. Otherwise, you're going to have to hoof it with the wheelbarrow. So the question is, there's a train depot right on the edge of town that'll take you right across. I know that Christian asked how much coin you have on you. The answer is, as you kind of look down in your pockets, Christian, everybody roll a d6 for me, actually.
I just saw a moth fly out of my,
We got 3, 4.
4.
4.
So for anybody who's not the manager for the group, who keeps track of the money, you have the number of coins that you rolled in your pocket and a moth if you want a moth to fly out. Christian, as the manager, you kind of keep track of some of the communal money. You have 10 times the amount of coins that you rolled in your pocket. It's gonna take 40 coin total, 10 coin each for y'all to get transportation across the district.
From where I'm standing, can I see like some loose, valuable things that I could perhaps, use to increase our wealth a little bit?
Well, you are surrounded by an absolute wealth of metals and valuable technology. The problem is, you don't even have to use a slot for this. I'll just give it to you. The problem is they're sentient and alive. And so around you, you see tons of wealth. You see a wealth of technology. but it is in the form of these AIs that are populated city, like a drone like kind of buzzes by you with a package in its hand, beeping out the jingle of the TLC Corporation as it goes on its way to do commerce. So there is a lot of wealth. It will require you because there's not a lot of waste in this district because it's mostly automatons. There's not the filth that oftentimes will accumulate in more biologically oriented districts. There's not a lot of trash to go through or anything else like that. So what is there is alive.
Mm-hmm.
Can we bring the wheelbarrow on the train, you think? Or do we have to pay extra?
Well, so it's 10 coin per person. So the 40 coin amount I told you was including paying for Hubert. If you want to try to figure out a way to not pay for Hubert, then I think you have enough money.
He's dead.
Bossman, maybe we can ask them for a sponsorship. We could put their logo on in Hubert's next fight, and I can give them a blessing. Maybe that will amount to something.
It's a very good idea, but first, Bertram, shake Hubert's pockets, for money. I mean.
So I pick Hubert up by his feet and start like dangling him to see if anything scrambles out.
So Hubert's like 2 feet taller than the tallest of you. So like as you pick him up to like shake him, his head is like still like long. It doesn't matter. His pockets are still up high enough for that to absolutely work. You start to see like different little bits and bobs rubbing out. There's bones. A dagger hits the ground. His sword falls out. You see like a coin hit the ground and roll across the dirt. Roll a d6 for me. We'll see how lucky you get as far as how much money he may or may not have on him.
6.
And then all of a sudden you think you're done shaking, but then you're like, you've been given a lot of up and down. So you do like a side to side, and all of a sudden he has a coin purse that just kind of like plops out down next to him. You open it up. And there's a gem inside that's probably worth like 250 coins. So like,
oh shit,
it's plenty of money, but it's also a lot of money.
Careful, you might hurt the money.
No, the money is on the ground.
Yeah, but pick it up.
Oh, okay. So I'll stuff Hubert back into his sack and put him on the wheelbarrow, and I'll pick up all the stuff without except the money and put it on him on the wheelbarrow, so it looks like we're just running around with equipment, and I'll give the gem to Tuver.
Thank you. Quick enough. Let's get this train started.
So are you going to give them the entire 250 coin gem in order to secure your? What are you angling for?
I'm angling that I'm gonna ask the two Bertram and Elligot for their money, and then just pay with the 40 gold we have.
Okay.
Didn't you have 40 gold yourself?
I have 33 gold, I think.
Oh, 33. Okay, so together we have 40 gold. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, sure. I can, yeah, we'll split the proceeds from this gem later, right?
He better win tonight.
Yeah, he better.
And I'll hand over my coin.
Yeah, I hand over mine as well.
Awesome.
But I do try to speak to the sales rep.
Greetings, salutations. How many tickets would you like?
Hi. I was wondering, if I could perhaps get a discount in exchange for a blessing from my god.
A blessing from your god? No,
Yes.
thank you.
Oh, it was worth a try.
I'm a soulless automaton. I don't believe in your gods.
Surely not. Don't speak that way, my friend. We can find God together. Don't worry about it. Perhaps later.
I'm sorry, are you trying to restrict my freedom of expression?
No, sir. Just, I don't want you to speak negatively of yourself. Of course you have a soul.
Debatable. What can I do for you today?
I suppose nothing.
Ask them about the sponsor thing.
Oh, yeah. Boss, come.
Yeah.
Tell them our idea about sponsorship.
Yeah. Automaton.
Yes, my name is Charles.
Charles, I need to speak to the manager, your boss. Is that okay?
Hold, please. And he like steps back and he goes and he's like speaks into a tube. And all of a sudden, the building that you're talking to, like there were a couple ticket taking windows right in front of you. All of a sudden, like they shutter down, and then like shutter back up, and you realize that the entire building is one giant head. And you hear kind of rumbling out from the ground and a set of speakers surrounding it. How may we help you?
Greetings, great train entity.
My name is Dave. You may refer to me as Dave.
Oh, great, Dave. We are looking for sponsorship. We are a glorious band of people with a very, very fortunate gladiator. And we thought that perhaps you would like the opportunity to have your name on our barrel. And we'll even present you tonight at the Grand Gladiator Stadium.
You would write the name Dave on your barrel?
If you would like, or we could do for your train.
The Train Ton Logistics Corporation.
Yes, perhaps that could be workable, I think.
Is it possible for a local stop to sponsor this? I don't know that I can speak on behalf of the entire Train Ton Corporation.
I think we can manage anything. We can even wave your flag at the tournament if you like.
Okay,
We can stitch it on Hubert.
So we're gonna make a luck roll here. We're gonna modify it. So we start out as just 3 out of 6 and take it up and down. Dave doesn't really have the ability to make this decision on his own. As far as actual sponsorship, he doesn't have any authority within the company. Unfortunately, he's just a local middle manager. However, so we're gonna take it down by 1 for that. Do you have any points in Holy?
I do.
Okay, you have 1 point in Holy, so we're gonna take it up. Who's negotiating right now? Is it Tuvar?
I guess so.
Do you have any points in Holy?
I have no.
Okay.
I have Mystic.
Okay, so that's gonna leave it as is. And then you offered to do what? Wave their flag, and anything else?
There's a grand tournament coming up, and we can have a flag with their emblem and everything, and also paint it on our wheelbarrow. And I think we offered something, stitch it on Hubert's body or jacket. I'm not really sure.
To women,
Just
forehead.
like we can hype them a bit, people should take the train more often because it's more environmental friendly.
Hey, just while we're talking about flags, I just want to mention for anyone who's watching who's a vexillologist, because I am, and it will drive me crazy to not recognize a flag. This one flag, this is the flag of Saskatchewan. So now you know.
There we go. Canadians in the house. Let's go. We'll take it up to a 4 and 6 for that. So you need to not roll a 1 or 2 on a d6. If you roll higher than that, they'll offer you a discount in exchange for sponsorship.
Do I do the roll?
Yeah, go ahead and do the roll. Down we go. Everything's player facing rolls. So like when it's a luck roll, it's kind of negotiated back and forth, and then you make the roll. So as long as you don't roll a 1 or 2, you're going to get the discount.
2.
Dave will need time to consider this. I will talk to the other regional branches and see if we are interested. Come back next week and we will consider it. In the meantime, here is a sticker for you. And Dave hands you each a TLC corporate logo sticker. And then there is a one sticker in the fact it's kind of shiny in foil print. And it is like the likeness of Dave. But you're unsure whether it's this Dave or another Dave station.
Excuse me, Dave. Is this free tickets?
No, this is a
Whole day
sticker.
pass?
Go ahead and start representing the brand, and we can talk about further arrangements later. In the meantime, that will be 40 coin.
I'll go ahead and put one sticker on the forehead of Hubert.
Deal's a deal.
All right. Not very happy. I'm just gonna put up the money very slowly on the counter, looking at them one by one until I pay for the fare, I guess.
All right. Which I think means y'all have now a coin worth a whole lot of money, and then a gem worth a whole lot of money, and 3 coins left. I think is how much you have on you. However, you've decided to split those 3 coins out.
But we do have stickers.
You do have stickers, absolutely. They get those stickers they threw in, just free of charge, and y'all get your tickets to get on the train also.
All right, guys, let's head on to the train. Let's find the right one.
So where do we put our luggage?
They direct you to wheel him straight onto the train. It's more of a standing kind of L train subway reality. So he's not the only person in a wheelbarrow in there. Like there's it's not a lot at this time of day, but there's a few other wheelbarrow folks. Actually, who is Tobias? Who is Hubert's greatest nemesis?
Oh. Felix, do you want to take that one?
Let's see.
You're quick with ideas.
Yeah, Miot.
One more time.
Miot. No?
Is it Neil?
No. Let's say.
But we call him that.
Let's say Axel then.
Exelden?
Axel.
Axel. Awesome. So you see his hype team has him in a wheelbarrow at the other end of the train also too. It looks like
I'll point at them with my foam finger of pointing. Do you see them over there?
All of a sudden, as you point at them with your foam finger of pointing, all of them whip their heads straight over at you as they feel the intense reality of this foam finger pointing at them.
I say pretty loud, but still directed towards Bertram. Like, isn't that what's his name?
I think
Axel,
it's
Neil. Axel, the not so excellent.
Yes, Axel not Nant.
You notice that all of a sudden, breaking through, you see members of his entourage, which is probably twice the size of y'all's, getting pushed off to the side as somebody's shoving through them. You can't see the head of the person shoving through them, and it becomes apparent why in a moment. It's because it's Dave the Rabbit Halfling, head of Axel's entourage. His manager is there, covered in corpse paint. Usually he's just drunk in a storm drain. But he's obviously out in full colors today, with Axel's logo painted in some sort of white ichor on his chest. And he goes, "Oi! What are you looking at?"
And I stand there with my foam finger and trying to hide it behind my back. We all know Dave. We are sightseeing today before the game. It's good for morale.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna make it to the game. I think you should get off at the next stop.
Are we going off at the next stop?
You guys are gonna get off at the next stop anyways, yeah.
Yes. You
I,
are also going off of the next stop.
No, because I got to go check on my mom before the match, and she's 2 stops away.
I take up my silver comb and like comb my slick hair backwards, look him straight in the face, and like, it's all right, my friend. I already took care of your mom today. She's all right. I promise.
Are you trying to goad him into a certain type of response?
I'm not sure. It depends a little bit. If I know that he has the same kind of sick humor, I'm trying to get him to laugh. But maybe I didn't really understand his humor. It depends on our relationship.
Is your relationship is not good. I don't think Dave does not take kindly to this insinuation about his mom. So why don't you go ahead and you can either roll initiative, or you can just take the hit of the envenom cestus that he has with him to your legs. One of the two.
I reckon you hear in the background like, ooh.
You do, like everyone on the train's like, ooh.
I think I roll initiative.
Okay, go ahead and roll initiative. So you're gonna roll a d6.
It's a 4.
Okay, so that means y'all are going to act first. So you see Dave pull out his envenom cestus. He's pulling back with it, and then looks like he's about to stab you, but you've got action. So go ahead and let us know, like, what are you doing as you see Dave about to launch into stabbing you?
How far are we from the next stop? Do I know this?
It's a very swift train. It's only about a 5-minute ride. By the time all this happens, you'll have maybe 2 minutes left on this train.
I mean, there's only one thing to do in a situation like this, and that's to try to make him to fall asleep. So I'm just staring at him and like, go to sleep, you bastard.
Is there any sort of visual reality to the way that this spell comes out from your character?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just still like finished combing my hair and just like forward posture, wide eyes opening, and I make him look into my eyes, and inside my pupils he can see something that makes him like that twirls.
Awesome.
Swirls.
So your eyes start to kind of swirl around, and as he's looking at you, getting ready to stab you in the legs,
yeah, and he's feeling it.
He just kind of slumps out and lays down. You see, like, everybody like stops for a minute, and like the rest of the train kind of like erupts in like clapping and like cheers, like and you see them starting to chant for Hubert, right? Like they're like, broad. But you can also tell that the 5 other members of the other entourage are starting to try to push their way through the crowd towards you. Does anybody else want to do anything?
Yeah, I want to pick up Dave's body. It's like, we got their mascot. Run!
Awesome. So y'all are just gonna try to tear your other way through the train.
With a wheelbarrow.
With a wheelbarrow. And Dave, this is great. I love it. Go ahead. This just sounds like a lot of weaving in and out. Rather than doing a luck roll, go ahead and make kind of an extended series of dodge rolls, but we'll just roll a d20, and then add whatever sneaky you have to it, and we'll see how easy it is for y'all to weave through this. Who has Dave and who's managing the wheelbarrow?
I have Dave.
Okay. Who's manning the wheelbarrow?
Can we do it together?
Oh yeah, if you want to, absolutely.
I'm thinking we're both not really. So I think we each take one of those sticks and just like try to push it.
Yeah, I think it's either Bertram alone or both of us.
Awesome. No, I love it.
We're both kind of wimpy guys.
How'd those D20 rolls turn out?
7.
I got 10, but I also have 1 in sneaky.
Okay, so 11 total.
14.
Awesome.
So 15. Yeah.
Contrary to what you would think, even pushing that wheelbarrow, like Bertram has gotten out, like into the lead, whether it's divine grace, some sort of foreknowledge, we'll never know. You're doing pretty well. What happens though? Like you get to the door between the two trains, and like you squeeze through real quick, but in kind of that slowing down and turning the wheelbarrow process, you kind of block things up. The two of you are caught flat-footed right behind them as Bertram's goons kind of like just all slam into the back of you. You're each going to take not Bertram, but the other two of you are each going to take 1 point of damage before you're squeezed through the doors into the next car.
So that's one on max hits, or no, wait.
So you've got whatever your max hits are. You're just gonna on the character keeper. You can mark off like one
Oh,
hit.
yeah.
In
Yeah,
your
only two
or
grenade
one hit up
counts.
to them. However you want to do it. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So y'all squeeze through into the next car. Like they're pounding on the door behind you as you do that. Like as it slams closed. What do you want to do? You've got probably another minute before you get to your stop off.
Is this cart also crowded?
This car is not quite as crowded as the last one, but there's still probably about 15 people in this automatrain.
I yell out, "They're trying to kill the halfling! Stop them!" And I start running through the train and try to get the crowd to like block our their path, our assailants' path.
Awesome. Do you have an ability you want to use for this, or are you just trying to curry the favor of the crowd?
I can do intimidate, I guess.
Okay. Sure. So you kind of like you clutch Dave the Rabbit Halfling close to you, and you kind of like intimidate the crowd into like helping protect him in this moment. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you really want to be without this man?
Roll a d6 for me. This is just the number of people who come to your aid. 0. No
6.
Other. This is how many people.
Lucky dice.
6. You got a 6?
Yeah.
All right, so you got 6 people. You see like it's actually mostly Axel fans, like they've got a lot of Axel gear on it, and so they recognize Dave the Rabbit Halfling, his manager, and they're worried for him, so they kind of flank in, and all of a sudden now you've got this group, this mob of other kind of hooligan fans blocking the way, as all of a sudden you hear like, you know, next stop in 30 seconds coming over the broadcast speakers as your train your next stop is coming into view. Felix, why don't you roll a d6 for me real quick? I'm going to see what neighborhood we end up in next.
6.
Awesome. So you hear the Temple District now arriving on platform 2. As y'all are able to, all of a sudden the doors slide out and open as these hooligans are starting to beat into each other.
Before we get off the train, I want to shout out as loud as I can, like, Team Hubert is saving the rabbit Axel Goblin. No, dwarf, whatever he was, sorry.
Awesome. What are y'all doing with Dave as you get off? Because the sleep spell lasts about this long, so he is starting to wake up.
Just throw him down the tracks.
What did you say?
Throw him down the tracks.
Oof, that's grim.
When he wakes up, he's like, ah!
I want to use my rope and tie him to the back of the train.
So you've got your rope out. It takes you just a minute. If you want to know how good of a job you did or didn't do, you can make a luck roll for me. Otherwise, he is tied on in some way, shape, or form.
I got a 4.
Awesome. Yeah, you feel like he'll be able to get off eventually, but he's not in danger of just falling off randomly. The train pulls out. As he does, you hear, "Oh, you better take back what you said about my mom," as he fades into the distance. Y'all find yourself in an area that's greener and lusher. There's a lot of old stonework kind of rising up around you. You find yourself, and there's on kind of as you come down the steps from the train into this next district, kind of a slowly rising hill with a temple that's surrounded by an old cemetery that's been converted into a greenhouse by the necrobotanist doer Halreap and Pimbrel. And so you see this giant kind of like lush garden-like temple greenhouse rising up in front of you. What do you want to do?
This is not the arena, or I forgot how it looked.
No, you know it's still a little ways away. You got like this was the closest you could actually get on the train unless you wanted to go see Dave's mom again. Like you guys are kind of arcing around the necroburrows in the pariah neighborhoods.
I think we're in...
Oh, yeah, actually. It's an interesting place. Maybe we can find some... oh, shit, we don't have any money, right?
We can get money.
That's a very good point.
You do know without a doubt, as you guys are on your way to this, and as it's come up once already, you do know that H&P, Halreap and Pimbrel, it is not uncommon for them to hire gladiators and other folks to test products on, and they're always looking for new ways to get the word out about their brand. So if you wanted to try to dip in and see if they're interested in a sponsorship, you're probably much more likely to be able to talk to a decision maker than just talking to Dave number 12 like you were earlier.
So do we feel like we have the time to do this rather than just run to the gladiator stadium?
It's all a question. I mean, that's a question. You guys did make it to the last district very quickly by taking the train, so you do have a little bit of flex time. But you do know that you probably got about 4 hours left to go out of the 5 hours you have total. So you're still a little tight, but you've got a little bit of flex time.
Ilgut, Bertram,
yes.
Let's go fetch that sponsorship we've been talking about for so long.
Yes.
And I'm leading them to Pimbrel in the greenhouse.
You're like, yes, and then all of a sudden Dave goes like on the cart. And so it looks like whatever pollen is in the air, his allergies are starting to act up a little bit in response to it. So,
I'll put the sticker over his nostrils.
Yeah. So as you make your way up, you start to kind of see winding up the path. Initially, there's a lot of people. Like there's other people who are selling like fruits and vine clippings and plants down around the bottom. But as you make your way up to H&P, the vines start to grow a little bit taller. There's kind of these long planter stalks that like they're wrapping around, and you do start to notice that some of the vines are starting to undulate and move around a little bit. Can't quite tell whether it's the breeze or if they're doing it on their own.
Better watch your step.
Oh, that's a cool trick.
You get your way up to the top of the hill, and as you do, you kind of notice that there's a few of the plants as you get to the last little bit that look like they have bones and human body parts, or not just human, but sentient life body parts, kind of placed into some of the planting. And you could swear you see one kind of munching, almost Venus flytrap style, on something that looks like a small like hand. But you're could be, could not be. Who knows? And then there's as you make your way up to the top, there's a security gate at the top, and there's a kind of bored-looking woman sitting inside who just looks up and says, "Can I help you?"
Yes, we need stickers.
No, we need a
yes. I'm sorry, let me present myself. I am the manager of this team, Team Hubert, and we're looking to speak to the manager here about potentially acquiring a kind of a sponsorship.
Oh, yeah, that's my aunt. Hold on.
What's your aunt's name?
Agatha Howreap.
Go get Agatha for me, please.
Hold on. And she picks up like what looks like a sunflower, and then she just kind of brings it up to her mouth, and she goes, is Aunt Agatha available? And you hear like from the back. She shakes it out, and a little bit of pollen falls out, and Hubert goes again, and I'm sorry, I couldn't understand you. Yeah, she's available, but what do you need? And she kind of goes back and forth about what it is. You know what? She'll come down. It's fine. And all of a sudden, you see you see a matronly woman wearing a kind of a long grayish coat with a big apron on and a giant bonnet on her head come down, and she goes, can I help you?
Yeah, I just blessings on your house, Matriarch Halrid.
Thank you. What do you need? What can I do for you?
Boss man.
Me and my esteemed hype team of Hubert the Glorious are looking for perhaps striking a deal of sponsorship. It so happens we have only one spot left, actually, and we just passed by and thought that you would be worthy of having your name on the chest of our glorious fighter, and perhaps even on our steed, our carriage of said Hubert.
As you point back, she like leans over and looks back at your wheelbarrow and at Hubert snoring away inside it. We typically, we want to really associate with gladiators who really represent the values of our brand. How do you feel about killing the undead?
So, I'm sorry, your values?
Yes. How do you feel about the destruction of all necrotic life?
Yes.
I personally, I don't have any opinions, and I think sleeping is perfectly fine thing to do, especially before a big match.
Oh, I
So,
don't have a problem with sleeping. We just want to know if you're on board.
Matriarch, let me fill in. We are, as a group, as a gladiator team, we believe strongly in the preservation of the body. As
Oh.
a yes, so as an art, as a sacred object, and we believe that living or dead, a beautiful body must be nurtured in fecund soil, let's say.
and also, if you are already dead, you're already dead. So it doesn't really matter.
Yes.
Interesting. I think we might be able to arrange for a bit of a trial. I'll tell you what would be most helpful is just a demonstration of your team's skills. Why don't just come with me for a moment? And she starts walking over like around this kind of like temple area over towards where all these graves were kind of coming up and down the side of the hill. Do you guys follow?
Sure.
Yeah. And I try to tell Ailgut like, hey, so she doesn't hear. Like, wake him up, wake Hubert up.
Yeah. I'll try. Yeah, I
We
try
can
again with
pretend
the.
Hubert is dead.
Yeah.
So, what are you trying to do to wake Hubert up?
I try again with my bottle, but this time I do try to like give him a syringe full of sacred dredge.
Awesome. So you inject some dredge into him. Tell me about the color of the chunks that are floating around in the dredge as we see the injection happening.
Oh, the chunks. I'd say they are like bone white, essentially, like chunks of mayonnaise, almost. Like but a little bit more slimy, I think. More like if mayonnaise was made of snot, like that.
Awesome.
Yummy, yummy.
Uh, roll a d6 for me.
All right. 2.
So all of a sudden you see Hubert set up as you get to the top, and I'm going to explain a couple things in tandem. You guys can tell me how you respond. Here's kind of what's happening in tandem. You get there, all of a sudden you see that there's this entire field of graves that are out there, and you see these vicious plant monsters chomping down on the undead as they come out of their graves. You see heads being ripped off. You see bodies being torn asunder. You see skeletons being pounded down by giant vines. As all of a sudden, Hubert sits up with this gray pallor and totally wide eyes, appearing almost as if he himself was undead, and just goes, what do you do?
Did we kill him or reanimate him?
No. This is normal. This is perfectly fine. I've seen this a bunch of times, I'm sure.
Agatha, what exactly do you want us to do here?
Well, I was hoping to see if you could kill him. And she points out at the bottom, and in the middle of all these undead creatures being torn apart, you see this 8-foot tall kind of skeletal creature that has picked up the femur of a dead zombie and is just like stabbing it into plant after plant that's coming out of it. So in order to get her sponsorship, she really wants to watch you kill this undead creature in the middle. Hubert's going to be away. You can tell Hubert what to do twice before he passes back out. He also has totally the appearance of the zombies on the field right now, though.
Shit, wait, did I kill him?
Who knows?
Okay.
Right now,
It'll be harder to knock out
with the
now.
graying of his skin and the whitening of his eyes, he very much looks like a zombie. He looks like he's in great shape. She seems a little bit put out by this. She doesn't seem entirely happy by this. But really, she wants you to take care of that zombie down in the middle, or that 8-foot tall skeleton down in the middle who's stabbing people with that zombie fever.
So I had to look it up. 8 feet is 2.5 meters.
Yes, it's very tall.
Ilgut, Bertram, I think I got a plan, but I gotta run it by you. Please join together.
Yes.
I think I figured out a way how to get close, but after we're close, I can't really do much than comb his hair and throw some oil at him.
Does he have hair?
I mean, somewhere perhaps.
All of a sudden you see him like yell, and like a zombie's like scalp rolls out of his jaws and down onto his face, kind of like a caricature of a beard. And so, yeah, he does have a little bit of hair.
There you go. So now we can get close and comb him.
Yeah. What would you like to do, Ilgut or Bertram? What would you suggest we do when we're close?
Oh, tell him to smash.
Hit him with my bat.
Because I don't think it's a good idea to have Hubert fight too much. He doesn't look too healthy.
No, I promise you, it's actually quite healthy. Yes.
Okay.
It's
Well,
just
We should have kept the halfling.
I think so too. We could have fed him to something. But I think, we're a smart crew. We usually figure things out as we go.
Yeah.
So you're on board with this, both of y'all?
Whatever you say, boss.
yeah.
Hubert, I need you to go really, really slow forward towards that big skeleton thingy thing down there. Like real slow, and you can mutter a little to yourself, but just go really, really slow.
Uh-huh.
And also here, take a little bit of this. And I take out my like really bad smelling perfume that I have, and just like wet him all over with that perfume, so he smells like half rotten, but also like a really, really old lady that tries to hide the bad smells
Jesus,
with
man.
perfume.
And Agatha goes, "Oh, is that Odiard? That's
In fact, yeah,
that's
but I
my
made this myself.
that's my favorite aroma. I wear it every day." And so you coat him with this kind of putrid floral, kind of like lawn clippings gone rotten aroma, and he starts to kind of wind his way through. Normally, you realize, like, as he's getting down there, that these flowers, these plants around him would probably normally be attacking. Like, you can see them kind of like shift around him, and then as they get close, they get kind of like a. And as they smell him, and he smells kind of like Agatha, they start to like move back away.
Ooh.
And he makes it down. He's getting in range of this beast. Are y'all following him?
Yeah, my idea was that we too like sneak after him so that the skeleton doesn't see us. So we're like in a line, just hiding behind the stature of Hubert. And when I see these thingies like approaching and not showing interest to Hubert, I take the perfume and just like everywhere around us, like on all of us,
All
if I
right.
may.
Make a sneaky roll with advantage for me, everybody. So you can roll twice, add your sneaky each time, and tell me what the highest result you got was.
I rolled 2 7s.
17.
Yeah, 14.
Awesome. What we'll do is we'll go. We've got Tuver leading the way. We've got Bertram. Wait, no, sorry. We've got. Man, I don't have my. Where's my sheet with everybody's names on it? Do. All right, so you got everybody enroll. Tobias, your character, you said you rolled double sevens.
Yep.
You're in the back, right? You're almost there, and all of a sudden you go, "Oh, look, we're almost to the guy!" And as you point out, you forget you've got your giant foam finger on that hand, and all of a sudden its eyes just look over and lock on you, like totally ignoring everybody else. Everybody else is totally in the clear. You're like, "Look at that guy," and like he totally like locks eyes on you, and you can tell he's like getting ready to turn. And go ahead and roll initiative for me, Tobias.
Yeah, it's a D6, right?
Yep.
6.
So y'all are going to get a chance to act before this guy does anything. So y'all are right in range. He's obviously noticed Tobias's character. What do you want to do?
Do I still have the wheelbarrow?
As far as I know, you guys still have the wheelbarrow with you.
Yeah, so I want to ram it into his knees.
Okay.
I just charge him with I want him to tip over.
Okay, so you're going for his knees. You just want to tip him over and not do damage. Make a bloodthirsty roll for me.
All right.
If I see the skeleton like approach to meet Bertram, I'm gonna throw my oil towards towards his general area where the feet are.
Okay.
I rolled a 6.
You rolled a 6 on a d20.
Yep.
Just making sure. Always got to ask whether it was on a d20 when somebody rolls that low. Cool. So you try to ram it into his back, and you're going for it at the last second. Like it falls down into like one of these graves, and like you just kind of like it dips down for a second, and it just like barely squeaks into the back of his leg, and he just kind of looks down at you. And you don't know how he's making noise, like he's just a skeleton, but he goes, "Ugh." What's everybody else doing?
I was born for this. I mean, I'll turn undead.
Is that the ability you took as a cleric?
Oh shit! Yeah, you only get one per level. Oh fuck. No, it wasn't then.
I was
I
born
only-
for this, but I'm still growing into it.
I did something else. I did. No, I didn't take one. Actually.
Oh well, if you want to pick that as your holy ability, if you didn't take one, go ahead and you can pick that if you want to.
I guess it's as good as any.
No, it's a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time for choosing that. If I had figured out that I was supposed to pick one in the beginning, I probably wouldn't have. But now, let's say I did.
Okay.
So yeah, I turn undead.
Cool. So all of a sudden he like tell me what it looks like as you turn this undead. Like how does that happen for your character?
I think I. Oh yeah. I do like this. I go, boom, and then it's terrified.
Awesome. So all of a sudden, like you go boo, and all of a sudden it goes, and this 8-foot tall creature tosses this thing in the air, like rips off its weird scalp beard, and it goes, and you actually watch it like it lays down in one of these graves, and then it heaves dirt on top of itself, like cartoon, and just like it's not even in the grave entirely. Like you can still kind of see its eye sockets popping out, but it's like hiding.
And the toes up as well, I think.
Is there anything that you want to do, Tuvar, as part of this process?
Comb your hair.
I'm just like looking over to see if I can spot Agatha.
She's like nodding approvingly. Like she honestly, I think, thought y'all would be dead and would be the next round of test subjects for the garden at this point in time.
Sneaky.
So I'm just like putting my thumb up and like screaming towards her. So is this enough? Have we proven ourselves? Or I mean, if we're gonna finish this off, I think we gotta get a pretty sweet deal, huh?
I mean, I think you've done enough. If you want a small sponsorship, we could probably do that. If you want a big one, that's a different conversation.
What does a small entail? A small, like, what's the difference?
Oh, we'll give you each a potted plant for your very own house.
Would you give me a house to keep it in?
No.
Worthless.
But they grow pretty much anywhere you stick them. I mean, we've had a hard time getting them to stop growing, in all honesty.
Hey, how about this then? Surely you have some experimental, like, personal safety gear or something that our gladiator could use in the ring. And you would want to try, right?
I mean, yeah, but you're going to have to kill that thing in order to get that.
No, come now.
Okay, guys, do anyone got any fire?
No.
Any matches? No way of lighting a fire here? Fuck.
I do have other things to do today, so...
Should we just send
I mean, you do have Hubert right there, like he's got his giant mace in his hand.
No, smash.
Okay, let's all go.
Somebody roll a d20 for Hubert for me.
Not me, probably.
I suppose
Okay.
it should be me who gave him the order.
Yeah.
13.
Awesome. We'll assume that Hubert has at least a couple points in bloodthirsty. He like walks up and he like just brings down his thing and he like smashes the top of his skull. You don't know whether it's dead or not, right? You do know its skull is destroyed. For all intents and purposes, in this environment, this thing has no signs of life above ground anymore. And so, but yeah, Hubert's kind of standing there like just thinking ground. All of a sudden, like he starts shaking and he collapses back into the wheelbarrow.
I'm just putting on my knuckle dusters and just go down and try to like just go pounding on that skeleton that's not moving.
So
and you see that oily hair just like
you do a finishing blow on this thing. Cool, love it.
And I'll cover it. I'll cover it up with my sack.
Awesome.
I pull it over its head.
I just look at Agatha like, well.
Yeah, that works. Yeah. So you come back up, and she gives y'all a couple things. So she gives you this kind of like reinforced leather like upper body thing. It's got like long arms on it. She gives you a pair of gloves that go with that. But it's got a holster on each side of it. One is has a pair of sharp scissors in it, and the other one has I don't know what the term is, but like it's a grabby thing on a stick, like on the other side.
Like you pick up cans with.
Yeah.
Trash,
yeah, with like the claw on the end though, right?
Yeah.
And it's all got H&P branding on it, like big on the chest also too, H&P branding. On the he could wear this, I guess.
And but what about our potted plants?
Oh yeah, I put those in the wheelbarrow, and you look back over, and you've got like a couple of like small little Venus flytrap things. They've also looked like they've latched on to Hubert and maybe sucking blood out of him. Also
yes.
too.
I think as a manager, I right now want to assess the situation. How much did we get paid? Was it valuable enough, or was it just junk?
This is probably really decent quality metal armor. The scissors look to be made entirely out of silver. Ostensibly, they are probably the best equipped. You don't know if these are particularly helpful in the arena. They were really designed for like plant care and maintenance. But when you put if you put it on Hubert, those Venus flytraps all of a sudden like just kind of like curl up and go to sleep next to him instead of trying to suck the blood out of him.
We should mount them on his knuckles.
So it looks like it may have some sort of calming effect on carnivorous plants.
I take the scissors from the armor.
Cool.
Is anything happening, or they're still calm?
They're still calm.
Oh, cool! I got myself a pair of scissors.
Nice.
That's all I wanted.
So Agatha.
Yeah.
A small donation, perhaps, to the cause.
Yeah, here's some stickers, and she hands you each a bunch of stickers. And one of them's a foil sticker too, just like last time. So normal
boys,
stickers for each of you.
Stickers for dinner tonight.
I think we have more business to attend to before the big fight tonight. But Agatha, before we leave, can I ask you, do you know of anyone that could perhaps exchange a large gem for gold? Like on short notice.
Yeah, I mean, I know we have kind of a new relationship. I could probably take care of that for you. And she like takes you inside, and she in like this place. There's like megafauna inside this temple. Like, so this is like there's like prehistoric, huge plants. You see like, and you see a number of them like undulating in, but there's no sense of breeze. It's hot. It's heavy. She's gonna lead you back to the back, into what a very small office. Opens up a safe. And inside there's just like stacks of coins and gems in there. And she goes, yeah, I can take care of that for you. What do you need?
Pull up the big old rock and put it in front of her and try to see her reaction.
Oh, it's one of these. Yeah, that's fine. And she like tosses it into a sack with like similar sized gems and then pulls out 250 coins. And hands it to you.
Are you sure this is 250 coins? I heard this is a little bit more than 250 coins. That's what I heard.
That's great. I don't know if you understand this. I run a huge citywide R&D corporation. I do know how to do math.
Okay.
Can I use intimidate on her?
I believe you have 1 level in intimidate. Is that, or 1 level in bloodthirsty? Is that correct?
Yeah.
That means you can use each of your abilities once per day, and I believe you
All
already
right.
used intimidate today.
That's
All right, I think that checks out. Thanks a lot, obliged and everything. And I'm just gonna see if I can I think, how's the situation? Is it possible for me to just like quickly grab something without her noticing when we leave, or is it more like a face-to-face situation?
What are you trying
when
to
we-
grab? Like money out of the safe?
No, just like anything that's not a plant, just to feel like I got a bonus.
There's mostly plants in here. You do pass like even like on your way out, these giant like they look like deeply polished wooden orbs with this absolutely like kind of gorgeous inlay on them. There's a pile of those as you're kind of walking out. If you want to make a sneaky roll, you can see if you can grab one real quick without her noticing.
Of course I do. 11.
Like you grab it. She doesn't say anything. You're not entirely sure you didn't get noticed, but she doesn't say anything.
Then I'm just gonna like throw it up in the air and think that it's okay. Like, hey, Bertrand, look at this. It's one of their souvenirs.
Yeah, y'all can take those with you if you want, I guess. I wouldn't let them hit the ground. She says this as it's in midair. Make a sneaky roll for me to make sure you catch it.
Okay.
Did you throw it at me or?
No, I wasn't
No.
intending
He was
to,
just
but
like
it would have
tossing
been
it.
very
I just
funny.
imagined he was doing a like show off toss.
11 again.
Yeah, like you like you're very aware of the need to catch it at this point in time, so it's like it's not the smoothest because it's one of those times where it's like this is important, don't screw up, all of a sudden like hits your brain as you like grab it, but you do grab it, you do get it, you do catch it. Yeah, you can each have one if you want.
Ooh.
what.
I'll grab one.
Madam, what exactly is this, please?
Oh, well, I'll tell you what, each one's a little bit different. They are kind of like a souvenir, but they are our new explosive megafauna. I mean, they're not really grenades. They're just a seed pod. But they will cause rapid growth of a random type of megafauna whenever they hit the ground in any sort of fertile dirt.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I'll grab one.
That'll get the crowd
Do you
cheers.
need one for him? And she points at Hubert.
Yeah,
we'll
sure.
take one for him as well.
Then you just put it in the wheelbarrow.
Secure
Just
it.
collecting.
I look a little bit suspicious on Elgut and just like, Elgut,
Yes.
was this your doing that everything went so very good today?
Oh, it was God's doing, clearly.
I feel like you earned your place in our team tonight. Real
Yes.
good.
I feel that too.
Didn't you see me with the wheelbarrow?
No.
So, Elgut, where are we heading?
So as
Look at
you
the
as you step out onto the other side of the temple, you're headed back down the hill with your new sponsorship in tow. You do now see the spiral tower of municipal administration in the distance. It's a large, oppressive tower in the shape of an upturned snell made from jagged and volcanic glass. You've never been able to find a door or window into that place, but you do know that the city workers come in and out of there all the time. You're getting closer and closer to the colossal stadium of justice and entertainment. You can actually start to kind of smell the scent of cooking fires for the snacks that the crowds love, as well as the coppery smell of blood and death kind of floating gently through the air. Almost sweet-like quality of of kettle corn, like sweet popcorn being cooked, kind of mixed with that tang. Somebody roll a d6 for me.
I can roll
Go ahead.
2.
Awesome. Roll another. Roll a d10 for me also.
Should I do it?
Go ahead.
6.
Awesome. So you are you enter into the Mother Queen's neighborhood as you step around the last little stretch before you arrive at the Colosseum. You hear the buzzing in the air of the hive intelligent species of insects that live here. All of a sudden, 2 giant hornet people slam down onto the path in front of you, and they kind of buzz to you. What is your business?
Just passing through, friendo. Blessings unto your hive mother.
Do you hear? The crowds are so happy we're here. Do you hear that, Hubert? And I slap Hubert's arm.
The crowd's over there. If you want to pass, you must pay tribute.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah, here, catch this, and I throw them one of the seats.
Make a are you trying to let it hit the ground, or are you just trying to offer it to them?
No, I'm trying to get it to hit the ground. Like look like I throw to them, but the aim is a bit off.
Cool. So I would say I'm fine with a sneaky or a mystical roll to like, it depends on whether you're doing this like cleverly or whether you're doing this like agilely, basically.
Yeah, cleverly, because I'm mystical. Ah, 6 again. I need to switch out this dice.
And it's a D20, right?
Yeah.
So you you throw it to them and they catch it and they say, thank you very much. You must come to the Queen Mother.
You're supposed to smash it to the ground.
No,
It's
it is
custom where I
for
come
the
from.
Queen Mother.
She must throw it to the ground.
She will do as she pleases.
It seems like everybody wants to see us today. What's wrong with us?
We're getting popular. It's because of the stickers, I know it.
Should
You
we
saw stickers, right?
We have seen these stickers. It looks like y'all are up and coming.
Yeah. I'm so happy today. It's a good day.
And
Come with us, and they stick like these very jagged, barbed spears at you as you feel like other hornet like people flittering around behind you, and you get kind of like poked in the back. They seem to be trying to guide you into one of these kind of dome-shaped domiciles nearby. It's the largest one that you've seen in the neighborhood as they lead you that way.
I tried to like wait a second. We can't approach the queen in this fashion. This is not appropriate. Give me just half a minute, okay?
Okay, we understand, and so does the queen.
I throw my comb towards Bertram, who I just think doesn't comb his hair, and like comb your
There is
hair,
no hair.
goddammit. Okay.
And I'll drag it to my empty scalp.
Do you have a beard?
No.
Okay, and then I take my scissors and I try to like just make Hubert as fashionable appropriate as possible. If he has some stubbles or some greasy hair, I try to make him look a little bit more appropriate.
I love it. Yeah, you do a good basic job cleaning everybody else up.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to groom yourself, even if you're a man in a fancy world.
Yeah.
So I also have some wax for the mustache, if somebody gets a mustache, and hair oil, of course.
I mean,
I'll
this is
take
totally
the
on
iPhone.
brand for our channel also too. Please go to +1EXP .com and check out all of our amazing beard care products if you got time. Yeah,
Ale Gout is a bit more for the natural oils, if you know what I mean. He likes to keep it greasy in the kind of Rasputin sense.
Yeah, I'll wax my scalp. It's real shiny.
After about 10 minutes, are you prepared?
What do you think?
I
Do we look
cannot
fashionable?
tell. All non-insects look the
Avanti.
same to me, pink and fleshy.
Yes, we're ready.
Yeah.
Let's go see the Queen Mother.
They take you in. As you walk in, there are two other kind of bedraggled looking alchemists in front of you, like who are meeting with the Queen Mother. They seem to be mixing potions in some sort of bizarre potion off. They're going fast and quickly. Somebody roll a d6 for me.
Tuver.
Okay.
My rolls have been bad recently, so.
I run 2 again. It's like 4 2s.
Awesome.
On a d6.
One of them, and you see this behind them in the shadows. There's this giant looming chitinous, large body that seems to be the queen. You can't quite make out any features, but you hear a deep droning noise that kind of shakes your bones. As it does this, like one of the alchemists picks it up and they pour a concoction, and all of a sudden their hand starts shaking as this acrid green smoke starts pouring out. And the insects around them start dropping, and all of a sudden, you hear them go, "No, it was an accident, I swear!" And this green smoke is coming towards you. There's also all the bug people are starting to drop, and the smoke is also making its way towards the queen. What do you want to do?
Bertram, get the queen.
Yeah, all right. I'll run up to the queen and try to pick her up.
Do you just hold your breath as you run through the smoke, or what do you do? The only way to the queen is through the smoke.
Oh, can I raise up a wall to like to buy myself some time?
Do you have an ability that you're using to raise up a wall, or you just want to try to raise up a wall?
I start building one. No, I have the mystical ability wall. So I want to make a passage for me.
Cool.
Like block it off.
Yeah.
For a few seconds.
Awesome. So yeah, you basically kind of like you see a wall kind of pop up out of the ground, made out of whatever you want. If you want to describe it, you can. Otherwise, it's just going to be dirt. You see the gas kind of hit it, and it's not necessarily rising up over it right away, giving you space to run around the other side where the queen is. The queen is a giant, like 20-foot tall, beetle-like creature, who looks like she is kind of, I don't know a better word, ensconced, I should think, like embedded into this area through like there's dirt and other things that have been piled up around her and have kind of hardened over time. But she looks like she's almost stuck in this space.
I'll try to grab one of her limbs, legs, arms, whatever. It's like, Tuver said we had to go.
All of a sudden, though, most of the hornet people are starting to drop down to the ground, you hear every insect around you in one resounding voice say, "He's grabbed me, he's grabbed me, he's pulling my limb." Like all of them are screaming it.
Yeah, that was
Tuver, what do I do now?
Tell her that she must leave. Quick, we must
leave.
Save her.
I cannot leave here. This is my hive.
Okay, good day to you.
They all yell.
And I run.
Well, this was bad.
Remember Hubert.
I think
Hubert the Limb Terror.
That's a good name. Better than Broad.
Now I need to repaint the logo.
You go out, it's chaos. Like even the hornets that are not in the range of the smoke are now like slamming into like hives dropping out of the sky. They seem entirely disoriented.
Okay, let's just bail. Actually, like, this wasn't our fault.
You see three people running with a wheelbarrow, and like all the hornets and people are like just falling down.
As you get to the edge of the district, there's one hornet on the ground. You've never seen a hornet person cry in your life. It's on its knees. Its thorax kind of like bundled up, and it has four arms, like two up here, two more beating its chest. And it says, "Who am I? Who am I?" It seems like for the first time ever, this creature might be experiencing what it means to be an individual entity, and it doesn't know how to deal with it. You can stop and deal with that, or if you want to try to have an existential conversation with a hornet person, or you can keep on running.
It's what I was born for. It's my vocation. I dropped down on my knees right next to it, and I put my hands on their shoulders, and I'm like, "Friend, there is a community for you. You need not be alone."
I do not want to be alone. I want to be a we.
Yes. My friend, go to the house of, let's say,
Hubert.
No,
He can be in our team.
Yeah,
He'll
but
be perfect.
He'll be in our team, but he needs the cult more now, and then he can join the team later.
So
but we are
the weird Christian church you were referencing earlier is Hillsong is the name of it.
Yeah.
You could easily be like the cult of the Song of the Hills would be 100% fine.
Yeah, I reckon this is much weirder than Hillsong. I reckon this. I mean, maybe you read our cults list. We have a long.
Oh, that's true. You do. Let's pull one of those. What? Let's make some rolls.
Is it a D10?
I'm cruising through trying to look for it. I've got the wait. Is that a temple one? I can't find the cult one right off the top of my head.
I think it's
yep, here we go.
In the back. Yeah.
It's what is this strange cult all about? It's a D10, yeah.
D10. Yeah, so it's a 9.
The good neighbor of the divines. Popular with service workers, homeless people, and lamplighters, it holds true that deities will disguise themselves as mortals and walk amongst them. A person who is eccentric enough in the right way could be one of the gods or goddesses here to grant a boon to the devout.
Yeah. This is actually one of the nicer cults. So yeah, I'm okay with this. I think they have a temple somewhere. Go to the house, brother or sibling, I suppose. Drones are genderless, I think. Go to the house of the good neighbors, and they will take care of you there. You can be a we there.
Elgot, don't we need extra security in our we? Hubert's we?
Look at this fellow. They're not in a shape to help us now. They need solace.
They like you kind of give them directions. They pull themselves up and they go, "Me can be we," and it like flies off kind of zigzagging very kind of almost drunkenly across the sky as it makes its way generally the direction you sent it. We'll follow up with them next session and see how that worked out. But yeah, you all of a sudden can see the temple, the Colosseum looming big in the distance. So we talked about it a lot, but the Colosseum, the colossal stadium of justice and entertainment, death sentences and executions are laid justice if they aren't performed as live blood sports in front of a raucous crowd. Gladiatorial games, death races, battle royales, judicious duels, squid games, or murder hunts. There are many ways to sate the bloodlust of the audiences, all in the name of justice, of course. I love a good stadium/Coliseum. This one has an excellent name. You see it rising kind of high in front of you. Let's real quick just whip around. Each of you tell me one thing that stands out to your character about the colossal stadium of justice and entertainment. One sensory piece of information. So whether that's a sight, a smell, a sound, what does your character notice about it as it finally comes into view?
The giant, like blood-stained banners that fly all around it.
Awesome.
I think the crowds, the sound of the crowd, the reverence and the awe of the cheering and the gasping of the crowds.
Excellent.
They used to stake the heads of everyone who died, but it got too many, so they just started building mounds outside, just mounds and piles of skulls everywhere.
Love it. Yeah, so as you start to navigate the mounds with your wheelbarrows, you notice you know the roar of the crowd kind of coming at you, the ooze and the ahs as the blood-soaked flags kind of whip in the wind. The smell of kettle corn, that sweet popcorn smell, is still kind of wafting in on the background as well. You get closer. As you come up to the gladiator's entrance, there's kind of a queue, a line backed up, and you bump into the back of a group of low-level gladiators who turn to look at you and notice that Hubert is knocked out, that he's unconscious. They're looking at you kind of with a greedy and hungry look in their eye. These are people who normally wouldn't stand a chance against Hubert. Like, he would normally demolish them, but they know that you can tell that they know, like, if they kill him now, that they'll be able to claim they were the ones who slew him. And they're looking at him with dangerous intent. What do you want to do?
Oof.
He's undead now, so that's why he's not moving so much.
Oh, I heard, someone once said, like, if they're already dead, they're already dead. No problem killing them again.
Well, he'll eat your face off.
I take my comb again, and then it's like, move for the glorious Hubert. He's just sleeping.
The limb terror, Hubert the limb terror.
That's right.
Are you sure you want to piss off a gladiator who has the corporate backing of the Traintown Logistics Company and Hall Reap and Pambaro?
And Dave.
And also the Wasp Queen, probably.
We also killed Dave.
Yes.
Today.
All of a sudden, you hear a voice behind you says, "Oi! Rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated." All of a sudden, Dave, with Axel and a wheelbarrow, and 4 of his hooligans who look largely scuffed up, come out from around another mound, and you've got these 2 groups facing off against you.
You should kill Alex. He's a lot more famous than Hubert.
And a lot more tired. And
yeah.
Dave sleeps all the time. He can barely keep himself awake.
Awesome. In regards to time, I don't want to play out a long combat scene. I love that mix. As this fight does inevitably break out, right? All of a sudden we see this squabble start to erupt into more and more. I'm happy to let people make straight rolls, but if you have an ability that you want to use to turn the tide of this combat in your favor, go ahead and tell me what that is rather than making an ability roll. Otherwise, we're going to make some ability rolls and see how things play out.
I've used up all my abilities today.
Well.
So I'll probably use Hubert like in a duel against the other wheelbarrow guy. So we'll push like the gladiators together in their wheelbarrows.
I love that. We'll come back to that in just one second.
I I guess I could take now acrobatics as my sneaky.
All right.
Um,
What are you using acrobatics to do?
um, I don't know. Like, actually, no. Let's revise that. I don't think that's in Elgat's character. I think he's more of a hide kind of person. He's
Oh,
more of
okay.
a yeah. He's more of a don't don't yeah. I don't want to be hit kind
Okay.
of person.
How are you using hide to advance your party's goal in this combat?
I think I try to use the crowds, the environment of the crowds, to our advantage. Like,
Okay.
instead of whenever there's a fight, and people will stand on the edges and look around. I try to like make sure that doesn't happen. To that people don't realize that there is a standoff going on. So
Awesome.
like, so they will just pass through, and there will be people in the way.
So you're
and like,
using hide to kind of just like keep this off to the side, right? So maybe this is like you knock one of the bottom of one of the mounds out and just let it like cascade down, blocking off this section for the fight. Does that sound good?
yeah, let's say.
Okay.
If I think I have a good like starting scene.
Okay.
If I get the opportunity against Dave, I will still be combing my hair with one hand, but like taking the knuckle duster like in my pocket on the other, and then try to sucker punch him. Like,
I love it. Do you have an ability you're using? That's just the
no,
opening
just
scene. Cool.
yeah.
Dave. So you're facing off against Dave. You're kind of combing yourself off, and he says, something about like, my mom said she's never met you.
Well, that's what she say, but honestly, where do you think I got this perfume from? And I just hold it up in front of him and wave it in the air, like so he can smell the smell.
And Dave immediately recognizes that it's his mom's scent also too, of course.
Old ladies love it.
And then you like as you're holding it up, you like then give him a sucker punch. We see like this cascade of like skulls come by as all of a sudden Felix's character kind of disappears in this distraction, but also kind of blocks off everybody else. We even see a couple of hooligans get taken out. All of a sudden, people are kind of clashing back and forth. As like Tobias, you ram Hubert into Axel's thing. Tobias, this is all going to come down, unfortunately, to you making a bloodthirsty roll for me to see how that attack goes.
Oh my god, I'll change the dice.
I think we've got enough of a good setup with all that. I'll go ahead and give you advantage on it also too. So you make 2 rolls, give me the highest of them, add your bloodthirsty to each one.
First roll is 17.
Okay.
Nice.
The second roll is 16.
Awesome. You slam it right into that. Axel's like thing gets flipped over. All of a sudden, like we see Hubert like fly up into the air as you like slam it into them. So, like, and then all of a sudden he does a backflip and like lands on his feet. He's got his mace out, and he's just slamming like into these guys, like creating one after the other. He still has kind of this gray pallor and this white over his eyes. He seems a little bit disconnected from what's happening around him. But a second later, like Axel is underneath his wheelbarrow. Dave the rabid halfling has run off in terror back to his mom to go, to go cry. And there's just a slew of dead gladiators around. All of a sudden, like you hear a slow like clap in the distance as a man in a finely tailored suit steps out from the darkness. He says, well, I have been looking for the perfect up-and-coming gladiator. to sponsor.
Right.
And I think that's a good place to fade to black. We have been playing Ascoleth, the Last Great City. We're going to do our reaction roll. Reaction roll is a live stream within a live stream. It's our chance to talk about a game that we just played or a setting that we just played. In this case, like I said, we're playing in Ascoleth, the Last Great City using Down We Go, our house OSR system. We did a little city crawl of a hype squad for a gladiator, Hubert the Great, or Hubert the Broad, who needed to make it back to the Colosseum before his bout. His hype squad did a great job getting him sponsors along the way. I absolutely loved it. I ran it, which I don't normally do. The only time I run things on stream is if somebody says, you can use Down We Go, because then I don't have to think at all. But I love Ascoleth specifically because it has a lot in common with the core setting of Infinopolis in Down We Go. It's a constant shifting, constantly changing city. The creators are from Sweden also. There's a lot of overlap. Marcus even did a little bit of writing, I think, on this project too. I had a blast to play it, but I can't wait to hear what everybody else thought. Let's just talk a little bit about it. Tobias, for people who are just joining us, tell us a little bit more about Ascoleth, and what people can expect from this project.
Well, Ascoleth is like a huge, weird science fantasy metropolis where really anything can happen. Like everything you feel fit in will fit in because it's so super gonzo. Like we just fought off like beetle people. There's like sentient undeads and robots. There's even robot wizards who have locust swarms. So yeah, and the city is also like ever changing. So like me, I have a trouble like remembering what happened last session. In Ascoleth, there's no worries. You can just roll up new results every time because the city is ever changing, neighborhoods moving places, and yeah.
Awesome. I had a blast playing. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to play in your own setting also too. It was a lot of fun to do. I would love to hear, like, obviously you created the setting, so you know a lot of this stuff. What has it been like to start to play in the setting? Like, there's the moment where you're like writing everything down, but what have been some of the things that have been really exciting for you as y'all have started play testing and playing through the setting? What's gotten you more excited?
For me, in this session was to see how another GM interprets our setting.
Definitely.
Because I know how I do it and how I see it, but it's like some of the things are really vague, like in the descriptions and how you describe the city, and it's like not archaeology, architecture. So it was really fun to see how you could interpret things differently and like let it play out.
Awesome. Let's talk to one of the other creators. We got Felix here with us. Also, Felix, same questions. What for you was exciting to kind of sit down and actually get a chance to play through the setting?
Yeah, it's actually the same. I mean, having written a lot of these tables, just to hear like the end of what I came up with and how you extrapolate from that and create from that seed of an idea is just so amazing. Like we're doing with Christian another playtest, and it's a totally different vibe of a city. Like, and that's so cool. Tobias is GMing that playtest, but to just see like the differences of like how different the city can be depending on the GM is it's really cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I had a blast running it. I also feel like I could have played around. Like we basically only went through one burrow, and then we had like a lot of encounters in that burrow. Which had you guys gone the other route would have been like, all right, like here's what we're gonna do, but there's gonna be a lot of combat, and we're only gonna do one of them, and then we're gonna go to the gladiator thing. It was very cool to see that. I may read a couple of things from some of the other boroughs because I just think the writing on this is so good, so fresh. I super enjoy it. But Christian, let's hear from you. Like, you're one of the play testers for this project. You've been getting a chance to experience a lot. What are you liking about Ascoleth so far? What's been exciting for you?
I mean, the whole experience playtesting has been very exciting. I am a big fan of this kind of urban fantasy kind of setting. But what strikes me the most today actually is how differently you and Tobias did the whole setting, and how much I appreciated both versions of it, which makes me, as also a GM, of course, makes me really excited to like get a hold of this and see how I would run it.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like I was doing like, here's vignettes. I want people to see a whole lot of things that are here really quickly. Which like I said, I could have paused on any one of these and we could have just explored around in that area for forever and had a whole lot of fun. And it was like I said, it's super enjoyably written also. I meant to read this at the beginning, but there is this like little intonation that's on, like the back cover of the version I have, and at the start of the thing, which is like, Ascoleth, the largest city at the end of times, a place for everyone, for good or bad, a terrifying and marvelous place where science and magic are one and the same, a place where you can find, buy, pray to, and or consume anything or anyone. Please enjoy your stay. There's so much fun here. It's 100% not my flavor, but I am going to read the Blacklight District because I just think it's such a good. It's such a good encapsulation. Here's the deal. This is if you are uncomfortable with sexual content, or the concept of what it's like for the undead to be involved in that, you should stop listening in like 5 seconds. Again, this is not my taste, but the creativity in the writing here is so good. I'm not even going to read the entire thing, but it's called the Blacklight District. It's in the undead neighborhoods. We would not have gone through it, but every enterprise and building here is in some way, shape, or form engaged with the undead sex trade. Vampire BDSM clubs are popular with tourists, while local tastes range from erotic spirit possession, watching zombie strippers strip off their remaining flesh, and Skeletal's flesh-free erotica. In the BLD, every bone is a boner. There's more to it. There's also an alternative to that one if you roll it and you don't want to use it, because it's not the content for you. But that's whether or not it's my jam. That's such good writing, and that's so creative. And I think because it is such an extreme, it highlights the care, I think, that goes into every entry, like the Plants versus Zombie writing of the Temple District, or the Temple Greenhouse that we went to, is incredibly amazing. Like Dave the Rabbit Halfling, which I was like, I have to include Dave in this. I can't not have Dave included in this. So I was like, I'll throw him in as a weird soccer hooligan for gladiators or whatever. I loved the evolution of this. It's one of my favorite things about OSR Play. Down We Go as a system really supports it, but Ascoleth cranks it up really well as a setting also. And I love emergent narrative. Like when I was rolling, one of the things I rolled was you get in a fight with low-level gladiators, and their sponsor is watching from the shadows. So I knew that in the back of my head. Like I knew that was going to be the last thing we did. That was the only thing I knew. And I also, then when I saw like, oh, there's a gladiator arena, I was like, man, it would be just really fun to have a gladiator hype squad. So that's what I told you guys. You're going to be a gladiators hype squad. He's going to be asleep. You got to get him back there in time, right? Whatever. That's all we knew. But the fact that at the first stop, one of y'all was like, can we get the train company to be a sponsor? I was like, that's it. All this is right now is sponsor quest. We're all about finding sponsors for the NASCAR reality of this gladiator. And I love that because like I knew a little bit of that going in, but if you hadn't made that choice at the train stop, that would have just been like a closing beat. It wouldn't have been like, we're all about sponsorships now. Here are stickers you can slap on the side of things. which is super fun. I love that kind of stuff coming out and coming in to a setting. And it was very cool that that's just where the play went, without any of us knowing that the other people were gonna kind of lean that direction.
That's what we're kind of made it for, that kind of play is what we love, and what we realize that like we don't have time for these settings, no matter how great they are, that are intricately crafted and have all these parts that you need to keep in mind. We don't have the time, we don't have the energy. We're both parents, and it's actually just more fun, honestly, to let the players create the world in which they inhabit.
Yeah. What I realized now, and what happy to see that our plan worked, and I felt that as I GM this myself, but also when you GM it now, is like the tables are made for like riffing off of, and they're also inviting for reactions. Like it's not only you meet someone, it's like they do something weird, they have something weird, they're dressed something weird, or they want something weird, and it's like it's very easy to like just jump aboard and ride along.
Yeah.
Post that to the players, like that's it. What do you do?
I also just love like even rolling up your cult at the very end, like that's the cult that has its primary foothold in the district we were in also too. Like that's where, and so like I love how when dice and narrative don't always match up, and sometimes the question is never like, oh, they don't match up, it's wrong. It's like, okay, if they don't match up, why is that happening? Which is just as much fun to explain as like, oh, cool, all these things are clustered and work together really well. And there's so much space for that. Every major district has like what dominates the skyline, which I love. Site of interest, house of worship, faction and control, demographics, and then the ongoing problems of that district. And they are incredibly gonzo. Like one of the districts is just like it's all moss. It's sentient moss, and the moss wants you to come be moss with it, which is immediately inviting and terrifying at the same time, right? I'm a huge fan of this type and style of writing in games, and so I'm super excited to see where people go and what people do with this. We didn't even touch on a lot of the tables that are in the books. Like there's like what foul manner of beast is on the loose. We talked about what is this strange cult all about? Who are the folks and what are they up to? Just different groups within the city, as well as just kind of generator ones, right? Like, so if you need a district and you want for some of the other spots in the city, there's a 3d6 table, right? So it could be the mechanical walls of Rayon, right? Like could be one of the districts, and you have to figure out what it is and what that means. There's a ton of just great tools in here. So no matter what system you're running in, whether it's Knave, whether it's Down We Go, whether it's OSE, like this is such an easy place to drop into or to visit. Like it didn't come up in our adventure. One of the things early on, because there is a table right at the very beginning, that it's like, what is Finisterre, right? Like what is this country that you're in? Go ahead.
I love that part. I really love that part. How you took it differently, and how the whole list there is just so brilliant.
Yeah. So like it could be a complex machine found in a dusty basement of Wizard, which is what it was. It's what I rolled. But I also loved one of my early ideas was like, oh, wouldn't it be fun if I sent y'all to a wizard's tower and sent y'all down into a basement, and like anytime you touched the map, it just transported you to that same place. Like what if Finisterre like existed inside of itself and looped around and was really weird? And there's a couple of options that would allow you to do that, right? Like I also love that 6 is like, duh, the current setting you're playing in. Weird, huh? It's just incredibly good. I think my big question is this. We've got the Finisterre trilogy #1 is at the top of this, right? And this is the worst question to ever ask a creator. But you started it because you wrote the Finisterre trilogy #1 at the top. So what is the Finisterre trilogy, and what are we looking forward to in number 2 or 3?
I don't know why we wanted to do a trilogy, but trilogies are always better, right? And now if we have a metropolis, we need a country to set it into. So the next issue is supposed to be like a wilderness map. We haven't really figured out how, but something like hex or point crawling in like this weird wilderness. And the third issue is working title is Crazy Catacombs, so it will be beneath Ascoleth, like weird levels of dungeons and weird stuff you can find in them. I think we have like, I can probably spoil this. We have a table there that's called "Why is the Gargoyle Mad?"
Such a good and important table that so many of us overlook in our own settings. Why is the gargoyle mad?
Because they're all mad, right?
Right. No, I've yet to see a happy. I mean, maybe one of the settings on the table is like, oh no, he's fine.
We're keeping that.
He's not. He's just, like that's just his face.
He's just chilling.
You guys also partnered with Glenn on this project, who's actually helping to run the Kickstarter. Everything else couldn't be here with us today. Glenn Seal, y'all guys, you're live on Kickstarter right now. You've got 9 days left to go. 326 backers, doing incredibly well. If people want to go check out the project, I highly encourage them. You probably know this based on what I shared, but there is strong language and graphic descriptions within in the city itself, within the zine itself. But I think it's just incredibly well written, and it shows a lot of thoughtfulness around if things are weird in Gonzo and magic is technology and technology is magic and all these different things coexist. What is this weird city actually like? And y'all have done a tremendous job. Tell me a little bit about the partnership with Glenn, and then tell us a little bit more about the timeline and what else we might be expecting in the funding process.
Yeah, I just want to give a huge shout out to Glenn, actually, because he's gone above and beyond. He's been super helpful in a way that we did not expect.
Because we have no idea how to do these things. We can just write.
Yeah.
So we really needed. Glenn has been super helpful, and we couldn't be happier.
And just like the happiness in which he responded to us, and like
and all annoying changes all the time.
Yeah, well, just like cheerfully, like, yeah, you're small creators, of course I'm gonna help you. Like, you don't see that a lot, I don't think. Just the I don't know what to call it, but like, the fact that someone who is established really just, yeah, I'll help you. Good natured, I guess. Really, really happy with Glenn.
Cool. Well, I'm super excited to see it. Like I said, people should go over to ttrpg.link /ascolethKS. If you Google Ascoleth over on the internet and Kickstarter, it will come up also too, or link you to it. We've also got links down in the description below. As always, it's been a blast to play with you. Christian, Felix, great to sit down and play with you. Again, Tobias, great to sit down and play with you again after a long time. I know that for a couple of y'all, this is also your first time to play Down We Go. We had Marcus in the chat with us, the creator also of the system also too. I love it. And like I said, I felt like a very natural blend for Ascoleth, because it allows a lot of the team brewing and emergent narrative possibilities, and lets the system get out of the way and let the setting and the players do a lot of the work. So I had an absolute blast playing around, and I hope you guys did too. A couple things we've got coming up tomorrow. Later tonight, I'm on somebody else's stream. I'll be hosting it. You should come check that out. I'm going to be running Through the Void, which is the space version of Down We Go. But tomorrow we've got a Guide to the Arachnid Apocalypse with Neon Rot. On Saturday, we are playing Death Grind Megastructure, which is another Down We Go inspired game set in a futuristic megastructure where humanity has lost its ability to interact with the technology around it and is just trying to survive the horrible realities of the city. And then next week on the 4th, on May 4th, we're playing Going Rogue, a Galactic 2E RPG, which is one of my favorite ways to play Star Wars type stories. I'm very excited about that. We also have our funeral party with Jarrett Crater tomorrow. So come back here for giveaways, hit follow to get notified when we go live, or head over to our YouTube channel to watch any of our videos on demand after the fact if you joined us late and want to see the first part of the adventure. But more than anything, go to ttrpg.link/ascolethKS. Check out this project. If you can't back it, the best thing you can do to help the project is just sharing it with other folks. Please do that.
Check out Rabbit Halfling Press on Facebook as well.
There we go. Rabbit Halfling Press on Facebook. We don't have a good way that we close out streams. So until next time, we're all going to wave at the screen until I take us offline. Bye, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye.